Good evening. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Kimberly Dinwiddie, Clackamas County's Public Information Officer. In the next hour, we will provide you with the latest information on the wildfires burning in Clackamas County and explain what the county is doing to help you, your family, friends, and neighbors affected by these fires. We'll begin with our speakers giving you an update on the fires, and then we'll save at least 15 minutes at the end to answer your questions. We will answer as many questions as we can during the time we have. You can submit your questions at the end by using Zoom's Raise Your Hand feature or by commenting in the Facebook live stream at www.facebook.com/Clackamas County. The Facebook live stream will be posted as a video on both Facebook and on the Clackamas County YouTube channel later. Let me begin by introducing Clackamas County Commission Chair, Jim Bernard. Jim?
Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you for joining us tonight. This is truly a historic time in our county's history. The resilience of our citizens, our residents, make me proud to serve as Clackamas County Chair. Many of you have evacuated your homes and are returning. Over 200,000 of you had to leave your homes. However, more than 3,000 residents in Clackamas County are still unable to return. We are doing everything we can to support you. Sadly, we lost about 200 structures, at least 50 homes and 150 other types of structures, such as outbuildings. We are still assessing this damage, and this number is likely to grow. Some of you may have received news that your home is damaged or destroyed in a fire. Our hearts and sincere thoughts go out to you. We want to ensure you that you have the resources you need to rebuild and recover. Recovery from these fires will take years, and we want to be there with you every step of the way. We want to hear your questions tonight. We also want to hear more from you about how this fire has impacted your life. Tomorrow afternoon at 2:30, when the County Commission will hold an online listening session. You can find more information about this by visiting www.clackamas.us/news. We want to hear directly from you, and you can always reach out to us anytime by email. Thank you for your strength and your endurance during these difficult times, and thank you for being here tonight. We hope you'll find this information helpful. Kimberly?
Thank you, Commissioner. Nancy Bush is Clackamas County's Disaster Management Director. She's been in the County Emergency Operations Center since the fires started. Nancy?
Thank you, Kimberly. So the county is continuing to evaluate the damage that has been caused by the fires. This assessment will take months. However, we want to share the information with you when we do receive it. We're also working with the state to clarify regulations and safety guidance for handling and disposing of debris. We know that many homes and properties have been affected, and early estimates by field crews show approximately 50 homes and another 150 outbuildings that have been significantly damaged by the fire, as Chair Bernard has said. These numbers may grow as we get more information. As you return home, you may find that the fires have significantly damaged or destroyed your home or property. I can only imagine how painful this must be. We want to make sure you have the important information that you need to avoid additional risk. Any ash or debris from buildings and vehicles should be considered hazardous to you, your family, and your pets. It should only be cleaned by professionals with proper training and protective equipment who understand the regulations for safety disposal. Reentry resource centers are operational in Estacado and Moala, including the parking lot of Casadero in Moala. The Estacada Community Watch Group is coordinating this effort, and it is operational 24/7 at this time for the community. And they have distribution of food, water, personal supplies, and clothing. Another reentry resource center has been set up at Foothills Community Church in Moala. It is open for food, water, and personal supplies Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Red Cross is distributing cleaning and comfort kits at the reentry centers in Moala and Estacada all week as needed. We're also working to open a disaster resource center in cooperation with FEMA by the end of the week in either Moala or Estacada. County staff is working to pull together resources for rebuilding, recognizing that the process includes debris removal, financing considerations, preparing plans, and obtaining permits. If you have early questions, you can find out information on the county's How to Apply for a Permit webpage, or reach out to staff at 503-742-4400 with specific questions. County staff is working with cities and other partners from around the county to get an initial sense of the damage, which will help us to work with FEMA to identify needs. Many homeowners and business owners affected by the fire are now asking questions about insurance and federal assistance. For all residents and business owners affected by the windstorm and fires, your insurance coverage is the first course of action that should be taken. Property owners who have insurance should contact their agents as soon as possible to understand what is covered in your homeowner's insurance policy and guidance on cleanup and recovery. Federal disaster assistance programs will want to know what you have resolved that line of aid first before you apply for federal aid. The Clackamas County online damage reporting forms will help us assess the scope and complexity of damage to Clackamas County by providing information about your losses and impacts. Your assistance will help meet community needs and apply for federal aid. By voluntarily providing this estimate of losses and impacts, you help the county better plan for community needs, follow up with additional information, and better justify the case for federal disaster assistance. You can share that information about damages to your home or business at these web pages. https://web3.clackamas.us/damages/individual and https://web3.clackamas.us/damages/business/. Please be clear that this information sharing process helps the county assess the situation. It is not an application for aid. A week ago today, on September 15th, FEMA announced that federal emergency aid has been made available to the state of Oregon to supplement state, tribal, and local recovery efforts in the areas affected by wildfires and straight-line winds beginning on September 7th, 2020, and continuing. Assistance can include grants for temporary housing and home repairs, low-cost loans to cover uninsured property losses, and other programs to help homeowners and business owners recover from the effects of the disaster. Federal funding is also available to state, tribal, eligible local governments, and certain private nonprofit organizations, and on a cost-sharing basis for emergency protective measures, including congregate and non-congregate sheltering and direct federal assistance. Right now, Clackamas County is working with cities, special districts, and other entities to collect their estimated damages, losses, and emergency work as part of a damage assessment process to allow additional federal assistance for publicly owned infrastructure. State and federal partners will be meeting with county and other local officials to discuss details and get firsthand experience regarding the windstorm and wildfires. Although the smoke is clearing and many of our residents are returning home after evacuating, we are not out of the woods yet. September and October is the heart of Oregon's fire season until the autumn rains begin. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Clackamas County firefighters have worked nonstop to put an end to these fires. We are joined with Clackamas Fire's Josh Yerke. Josh?
Thank you, Kimberly, and thank you for the invite to participate tonight. I want to start by saying our deepest sympathies are with those individuals and families impacted by these wildfires. These are truly difficult times. With that said, our first responders are prepared to handle emergencies and are currently back in our community fire stations. We want everyone to know that Clackamas Fire is a resource for the community. And in addition to that, the Clackamas Emergency Service Foundation is actively reaching out to help those in need as a result of this devastating event. For more information on the foundation, please visit cesf.us. We're also working with our partners, many of which are in attendance tonight, as we walk through ours and the community's recovery. Part of our effort over the next several months will be to critically look at ways to improve through an after-action review, which is a routine activity for us, but will be a long and ongoing process for this major event as we look to improve. I do want to end on a positive note. I'd like to say that there was no fire fatalities and no major firefighter injuries during this event. Our priority is always the safety of our communities and our first responders. And so this was a small win in my book for sure. So thank you very much. Back to you, Kimberly.
Thanks, Josh. Clackamas Fire has been joined by wildland firefighters from all over the country, led by two specialized national fire management teams. Deputy Fire Incident Commander Michael Cheek will provide an update now on the Unger, Wilhoit, and Dowdy fires. Good evening, Michael.
Thank you, Kimberly, and good evening to you too. Like Kimberly mentioned, I'm the Deputy Incident Commander with the North Carolina Type 2 Incident Management Team. We are working with the Oregon Department of Forestry to manage the Dowdy, Unger, Wilhoit, and Graves Creek fires. Currently, we're sitting at about 2,584 acres. These fires have not moved out of their fire footprint in the last couple of days with the help of the rain that we had early or late of last week. We are currently sitting at about 64% containment, and that containment is rising every day. And with the projected rain that we're expecting tomorrow night and into Thursday, we should have a significant increase in containment through the rest of this week. After the rain, we'll be looking at repair and rehab, what we need to do to really put these fires to bed and hopefully have them completely out sometime next week. Outside of that, we do appreciate all the support that the community and the public have given the wildfires as they've worked really hard to try to contain these fires and keep them in these small footprints. So thank you very much for that. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Michael. Dave Bales is the Deputy Incident Commander with the Southwest Incident Management Team fighting the Riverside Fire. Dave?
Thank you, Kimberly. Again, it's Dave Bales with the Southwest Team Area Team 1 on the Riverside Fire, sitting in for Alan Sinclair tonight to give an update here. The update with the Riverside Fire is we're currently sitting at 138,020 acres. We're at 20% contained. We continue to work with our partners to, strengthen our control lines, mitigate hazards throughout most of the fire areas, specifically on the west side and north sides is where we're continuing our containment. Working hard with everybody. Just want everyone to be safe in there as they re-entered their properties, re-entered their homes, in their lands. It's a long task. It takes a little bit to mop up stuff on the edge and get that depth that we like to call containment. So over the next few days, the big news here is we're transitioning out. We've been here roughly almost 2 weeks, so we are transitioning with another type 1 incident management team. We'll be doing that here over the next couple days, and then as we do that, you'll start to see some new faces around and making those contacts. So we'll make sure everyone gets their names, who they are and where they're from, and continue to keep up this communication coordination throughout what we've seen as a successful event here on Riverside. The big news for us also is the weather that's coming in. That's a big concern to our firefighters out there, everyone that's in and around the fire perimeter and fire area. The weather coming in is, of course, as you know, comes in with wind first, and with the trees that have been burned, there's a little weak root balls, things like that. The trees will come over a little easier. So looking at those hazards as well, then the rain. As the rain comes in, lots of rain will kind of create some problem areas for us. So we're asking folks to be cognizant of that weather that's coming in. And again, we're working through that as well as we start to transition with another team coming here. So Kimberly, thank you for your time, and everyone else, thank you.
Thanks to all of the many firefighters who've risked their lives to help us here in Clackamas County. So let's turn to our county roads and how they're doing and what our crews are doing to protect the travelers out there. Dan Johnson is the director of Clackamas County's Transportation and Development Division. Dan?
Thanks, Kimberly. I'm so glad to be here tonight. First, I want to reach out and thank our road workers who played a crucial role during their fires and the recovery, and will continue to do so in the coming days, weeks, and months. Clackamas County Transportation Maintenance crews coordinated with state and local fire and county sheriff's office to barricade more than 80 roads closed by the fire or debris. I'm happy to report we've reopened about 60 of those roads so far. I also want to highlight the fact that during the height of the event, our county road staff used our excavation equipment to help fight the fires by creating fire breaks in partnership with local fire services. They helped with sandbags, they delivered supplies to evacuation staging areas, and moved Red Cross shelters and a lot more, and they deserve a heartfelt thanks for that. As the fires and evacuations continue, I want you to know some important things. First, the level 3 evacuation zones can continue to be hazardous because of debris, burnt tree canopies, and down vegetation. We were also want to give our firefighters their space to do their work. And it takes a lot to clean up. The Oregon Department of Forestry takes that initial pass to remove these hazards in partnership with our federal fire forces. After that initial pass, our transportation maintenance crews do a secondary sweep and road assessment. And that step is happening as I speak, and I'm pleased to report that. Our crews have removed tree debris from more than 60 roads so far, and inspected approximately 700 of the 1,400 linear miles of roadway in Clackamas County. Let me reemphasize, when you re-enter an area that was evacuated, please be aware of the driving conditions. And as you probably know, the weather forecast calls for more rain in the next few days. It may be quite heavy in places. That means that burnt hillsides may slide, causing debris flows. Please be cautious and please drive safely. If you happen to notice a road problem in your area, please contact our Road Concerns hotline at 503-557-6391. That's 503-557-6391, or by email at roadconcerns@clackamas.us, or visit our website. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thanks for the update, Dan. So we know this has been a very stressful time for so many. So we've asked our county mental health specialist to talk briefly tonight. Dr. Jeffrey Anderson is our crisis program supervisor in Clackamas County's Behavioral Health Division. Dr. Anderson, what can each of us do to protect our mental health when we're facing two life-threatening events at the same time?
That is a really good question. First, I wanted to just give you some information, if that's all right. So like Kimberly said, I'm Dr. Jeffrey Anderson. I'm with the crisis program at Clackamas County Behavioral Health. We definitely know that these are trying times for folks, and we want you to know that we're here for you. You're not alone. We're here to take care, or to help you to take care of yourself, your family, and your community. Clackamas County Behavioral Health staff are working to ensure that you receive the resources and the connections that you need to help with your mental health. So I've got some resources to share with you tonight so that you can find the support that you need. First of all, we formed GO teams, which are resource teams made up of staff who are trained in psychological first aid. These GO teams go out into the community, they meet you where you're at, and they provide you with a listening ear and referrals to services and supports. We do this to make it easy for people to access vital mental health services while reducing the spread of COVID-19. We also operate the Urgent Mental Health Walk-in Clinic, the Clackamas MHC. We're open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. right now, by appointment only. We're currently offering telehealth services at the MHC, and the phone number is 503-722-6200. If you or someone you know needs to talk right away, you can also call our 24/7 crisis and support line at 503-655-8585. We're here for you. Please also visit our website at www.clackamas.us/coronavirus/go-teams for more information on how to receive mental health support. We're all in this together, and we're here for you. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Finally, tonight, before we answer the many questions coming our way, we'll have some final comments from our Disaster Management Director, Nancy Bush. Nancy?
Thank you, Kimberly. I do want to make a correction. I said that the Cazadero Inn was in Moala. That is an error. It is in Estacada. I apologize for that misspeak. So there is a reentry resource center at Cazadero in Estacada, and then there is one also in Moala at the Foothills Community Church. So I apologize for that. And I also have been asked to repeat the websites, so I'm going to do that again. So if you want to grab your pencil and paper, I'm going to go through those again before I wrap up. It is HTT. This is also information about damages to your home or your business. These are two websites that you can go to. https://web3.clackamas.us/damages/individual. For businesses, it is https://web3.clackamas.us/damages/business. Okay, so thank you for being here this evening. I know that we've shared a lot of information with you tonight, and we're happy to take your questions in just a few moments. But I do want to finish up our presentation tonight by just saying to each and every one of you, thank you. This continues to be a very difficult time for our communities. And I've noticed time and time again just how resilient that you are. And as Dr. Anderson has said, we are here for you. If you haven't already, please sign up for our public alerts to keep up with the changing situation for this event, as well as we'll sign you up for future events. You can go to Clackamas County webpage at clackamas.us and just follow the prompts on that page. You can also check out our Clackamas County's Facebook page for help in signing up as well. Please continue to monitor your local news and the county website for updates and directions from fire, law enforcement, and public health officials. Thank you, and please stay safe. Kimberly?
All right, thank you, Nancy. We will also update our website with the web addresses that Nancy has spoke of, and we could also add them to the comments in the Facebook stream as well. So let's get to your questions. If you'd like to offer a question via Zoom, we ask you that you keep your question to about a minute or so. On your Zoom screen at the bottom or the top of the Zoom bar, depending on your device, there is a raise your hand feature. So please raise your hand and we will take your questions via Zoom and also the ones that we received through Facebook. So we are going to start with Harmon. Harmon, could you please unmute yourself and say your name and where you're from within the county and ask your question? Okay, Harmon, are you with us? You unmute yourself. Okay, Harmon, as you're working on that, we will go ahead and ask a question to our team of panelists from Facebook. How will the displaced and those that lost their homes vote in this coming election? Is there anybody on our team here who can take that question?
So I will speak quickly. I think Chair Bernard wanted to say something too. Chair, I'll let you speak. Please go ahead.
I was just going to say, if your home has been destroyed or damaged and you can't get your voter's ballot when it's mailed to you, you can stop by the county's elections office and pick up a voter's ballot. And I would say that's probably the best option. Nancy?
Yes, and that's what I was going to say too. And the address is 1710 Red Soils Court in Oregon City. And also their phone numbers on the website as well. You can call them and ask them, also, what they prefer you do as well, but you can go by or call.
We also, on our website at clackamas.us/elections, there is a frequently asked questions on the bottom of that web page that explains what displaced voters can do in this event to make their vote count. All right, let's see. We're happy to take your other questions on Zoom by using the raise your hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom bar. So is there, doesn't look like we have any other questions coming in through there, and I'm kind of awaiting.
Looks like Harmon's mic is now working, at least according to the screen.
Okay, Harmon, if your mic is working, we'd love to hear your question.
Maybe not.
Okay, it looks like we have a question from Dave and Sylvia. If you'd like to unmute yourself and share with us your name and your question.
Hi, this is Sylvia Espinosa, and this is for Michael Cheek. You give a number for the containment, but it makes it sound like it's all these 4 different fires you're in charge of. Can you give individual containment numbers for those different fires?
Okay, we are actually working on those numbers this afternoon. So yes, the percent containment that I gave was for all 4 fires. It was at 64%. We do have Graves Creek Fire 100% contained, and we're currently working on the containment numbers for the Dowdy, Unger, and Will Hoyt fires, and we will have those available tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And we could also share that information that this team provides through our social media channels as well. So expect an update sometime tomorrow when that is available. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Again, you can use the raise your hand feature at the bottom of the top of your Zoom bar. And it looks like we have a question from Evan that we'll take. So Evan, if you would like to unmute yourself and tell us your name and where you're from and ask your question. Evan? Okay, well, we will ask one more question, another question that we have here. We have someone from Facebook that says, thank you for all your service. Are there any N95 mask distribution sites for those who have been impacted by the wildfires?
So that is a good question. And no, we do not have any N95s. We may have some KN95s, which also are very effective, that we will discuss and see if we can get some of those out to our resource centers. I need to take a look. I'm also working COVID, so I do need to take a look and see what we do have in our warehouse. That's a very good question. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. And again, if we can't follow up on these questions today, what we will do is we're developing a frequently asked questions that we could post on our website. So if anybody is joining us on the phone through Zoom, you could also hit *9 and to unmute yourself and ask your question. Okay, it looks like, Evan, we have your hand back up again. If you would like to unmute yourself and give us your full name and where you're from in the county and your question.
We hear you.
We hear you a little bit.
I can hear him.
Yeah, I can't hear him either. See. So we have another question here from Facebook. It reads, thanks to all of the first responders. Is there an outreach plan for individuals and families on the other side of the digital divide, such as little or no internet access? And that's a very good question, and it's one that we have received quite a bit, especially, and something we're aware of due to our rural community. In many areas do not have Wi-Fi or internet service, and in some cases the power has been out for days. So Nancy or anybody here, can you speak to that?
So yeah, what I do know is we actually met with FEMA today and talked through some of those issues to make sure that we are reaching all of our communities. I do encourage you, if you do know someone that is in that situation, to make sure that they do know where the resource centers are at this time. But we will also have, paper applications for individuals to fill out, or we will have computers set up where people can come in and actually do it at the resource centers. So it is a challenge, but we are definitely committed to making sure that everyone receives the information and that everyone receives the services that they need.
Another thing that we have done earlier in the event is, especially the people who didn't have that access or even weren't even home, we were going out to the evacuation sites and having conversations with folks so they knew where the resources would be. Ideally, we like to get to people right in their community. So because not everybody can have these accesses to internet and to our digital tools. And so we're, that spirit of community and having community members really pull together and make sure that their neighbors have the information that they need makes our job easier as well. We're also well connected with the citizen planning organization groups to reach out to help us understand where those the lack of internet services are within the county to make sure we're reaching the right people. Another thing, so do we have any more questions by Facebook? Okay. Let's see, so again, you can raise your hand on the Zoom bar by using the top or the bottom. It looks like we're hearing from, trying to try Evan one more time. And go ahead, Evan, it looks like you could be unmuted by now if you'd like to share your question. Okay, if you are unable to share your question via Facebook or Zoom, you could always email us at eocpic@clackamas.us, and we will respond to your question as soon as we possibly can.
Also, I sent Evan a message in chat. He can type the question in chat.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner.
He hasn't
Appreciate
responded.
that. Okay. All right. Well, do we have any more questions coming in from Facebook? It looks like we can. Oh, okay, Evan, thank you for typing your question in here. This is a very good question. What are the plans for preventing mudslides on steep slopes that have been badly burned? And I'm actually going to maybe turn to, is there anybody who could answer that question? I know our road crews have been out today preparing for that, but is there anything else that we can share in response to that question?
I guess I'll take the first crack at that, and then I'll serve it up to our fire folks if they want to expand on some of the efforts they've been doing. I know that our transportation maintenance group has been taking a look at a couple of particular areas, and know that we are also coordinating with the Oregon Department of Transportation to look at those sensitive areas where we have steep slopes. And for those areas where we have found they are located, it is difficult to control a mudslide, but what we do is try to do preventative action, such as some efforts today we had were ditch clean and check dams were put in place. And we also did some active hydro seeding of some burnt hillsides to at least try to minimize and provide some additional stability to that hillside. I'm not sure if anybody else would like to expand.
Like you said, it is very difficult to both forecast and control mudslides. But one thing we have been doing is trying to take all the hazard trees that we've assessed that are near roads. Mm-hmm. So that way the tree won't fall and bring the whole root system up and help potentially increase the chance of a mudslide. So we have been doing hazard tree removals, trying to help with that scenario.
I think Evan had, thank you so much. I think I saw Evan had an additional question. As I stated earlier, if you go to if you have concerns about roads, not simply the condition of the road, but the condition of the areas around the road and the stability of those hillsides, please contact our Road Concerns hotline. It's 503-557-6391, 503-557-6391, or go to roadconcerns@clackamas.us. Those are direct lines into our transportation maintenance crews. And once we receive that information, we will dispatch individuals to go take a look at that particular issue.
Thank you, Dan. It's important to note that this threat of landslides and down trees could last for a couple of years, several years after the fire. So we're not going to be out of the woods yet. We already know that many areas in our county are susceptible to landslides and rock falls. So just be careful out there and watch where you're going, because it'll be years before these slopes can be fully recovered. So we have another question that came in through the chat from Doug Orts. And he asks, this is for the Riverside fire. When are aircraft going to be used on Riverside fire and other hotspots?
Hey, thanks, Kimberly, and thanks, Doug, for the question. So on the Riverside fire, we have used helicopter with bucket drops on portions of the Riverside. As you know, with the smoke in the area, we haven't been able to use a lot of aircraft. So currently, as the smoke's lifted, we've used some in areas to protect, for the line construction where hotspots are close to line. We don't do a lot of aircraft deep interior of the fires. So we use them close to the line perimeter to a point. We don't want to go too far in. Our biggest concern right now is drones in the area, or unmanned air systems, UAS. That's been an issue for us at times. We've had aircraft up and had drone intrusions where we had to land our aircraft. So just we've used them where we can with the weather systems that have been coming up. That tends to ground our aircraft. So we're looking for those opportunities as we can, but right now we're focusing on our ground troops and our perimeter line containment there.
I'd like to add a little bit to that. You know, when the fires all started, I had a call, people wanting to know why we weren't up there fighting the fires with helicopters or planes. Well, when the wind is high and the smoke, it makes it invisible. It just isn't a time to be up there in a plane. The National Guard is who I was talking to. They had to move their planes, their helicopters or planes, I believe, twice. One in Malino and then to Aurora. And they never did get up for the first, at least as far as I know, for the first 5 days. So I assume, are those contract pilots or National Guard that are dropping water on the fire now?
Currently, the helicopter pilots we're using right now are contract pilots with agencies here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that question. Again, if you're on the phone, if you wanted to and submit a question, you can dial *9, which raises your hand, and then we can give you further instructions to unmute yourself. So I think the questions are actually slowing down. We'll give it one last call for questions through Facebook as well as Zoom, and then kind of move on to wrap up for the evening. So just the last call for questions. Okay, so thank you for your questions. And if we happened to miss your questions, we will try to follow up with you individually. We are also going to work on a frequently asked questions over the next few days. We plan on holding another community meeting just like this on Zoom, and we're aiming for Thursday evening at 5 o'clock, and we'll post that link to the website. But before we do that, I would like to maybe do a poll for those of you who are still with us on Zoom. And those of you who are with us through Facebook, we would like to know what topics are important for you to understand and to cover, for us to cover at our next community meeting. So if you just want to select your preferred, what you want to hear, that would be great. We'll have the, you got 17 seconds to respond. And again, for those of you on Facebook, if you would like to present your ideas, please do so in the comments. And we want to thank everybody for their ability to participate in this poll and for being here tonight. So we'll post the phone numbers and the web links we referenced tonight on this feed for the next few minutes. And tomorrow, again, we want to remind you that tomorrow at 2:30 in the afternoon, the Board of County Commissioners will hold a listening session to hear directly from you on how these wildfires have affected you. And that information is available on our website. So thank you for joining us tonight, and please stay safe. And we will get you that information if you want to pull those, put that information up, Garrett, of those web links. I think that would be helpful, and we'll also have it available on our website, everything we talked about tonight at clackamas.us/wildfires. Thank you for all joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Good evening, everyone.